Hey guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy, home of the best mic checks this side of the Mississippi. It's Collider Movie Talk. On today's show, we are going to be talking about Disney, Fox. Could they join forces? Disney could acquire Fox, and we also have some Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom details. Who's joining me today?
Also joining us, Mark Reilly.
Happy to be here. Jumping in real quick here, and it's a good show to do it. Let's talk.
And also joining us, Jon Schnepp.
Yeah, the Christian Mark Ellis feud continues. As we can see, it's Natasha Wednesday, and I say, "What's up, Cabo Wabo?" Right?
Hey, thank you very much. Higher and higher, straight up, we will climb. We are broadcasting from Southern California, as we do each and every weekday here, and there's fires all around us. It's a really scary time right now. If you have been displaced, you have been evacuated, we hope you're keeping yourself and your family safe. And for anybody else that's around the Southern California area, if you don't have to be outside anywhere, you don't have to be on the roads, please let the brave men and women of the Los Angeles Fire Department do their job. They are working around the clock to keep us safe. We hope they continue to do so, and we're here to provide a 45-minute to an hour respite from all the real stuff going on. But there is some business talk to get to up top. Natasha, what do we got?
A lot of business. In a new report from CNBC, talks between Fox and Disney are back on and have moved far enough along that it looks as though a deal is in sight and could be announced as early as next week. As previously reported, the assets for which 21st Century Fox are looking to sell off include the film studio properties like X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four, along with their TV properties and non-broadcast TV parts, including FX and National Geographic, reportedly worth $60 billion. The specifics of the deal in terms of how things change is currently unclear at this point. Mark, is this a done deal, and could Disney actually buy Fox for $60 billion?
You know, you say $60 billion, and does anybody have that much money that's not named Christopher Plummer in the new movie, All the Money in the World? It just, I didn't know that much money existed in the world. I didn't know $60 billion was a thing that anybody could, and I know it's a company buying another company, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were merely speculating, when we heard that Disney and Fox were having initial talks and what that could entail. Is that going to be Disney acquiring all of Fox Studios, or is that going to be too much of a monopoly? So now Fox News remains independent and Fox Sports remains independent, but we could be getting a lot of the properties that we know and love from Fox coming over under the Disney umbrella. I think this is pretty much a done deal, Schnepp, because we heard about talks, they broke off, now they're back on it. It seems like this could happen as early as next week. And what that would mean for all of us movie fans is that you could have a character like Deadpool or the X-Men or Fantastic Four or whoever else. If they're under the Disney umbrella, Schnepp, does that mean that we could be seeing these characters in an upcoming Marvel movie? Could we have more team-ups?
It's called Phase 4. That's what's happening, man. I'm talking about this for like a year. I'm glad I was right. You know, hey, look, I'm just glad it's happening. I mean, for myself as a fan of the Fantastic Four and wanting to see that comic book series brought to life the right way, it feels like the right way to do it is through Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So just for that small piece of news, I'm excited about. I'm a little hesitant about another monopoly, but, you know, I mean, that's how these things go. I mean, you could go back to the 70s, 80s, 90s, companies devouring other companies. If it gets too big, it'll get broken up. But, you know, I don't think it's too big yet. It's only just going to get better. So as far as, like, you know, greedily for my own interests as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what I want to see done, I think that's good news for any fan of Marvel and comic books in general. I think it's a good news.
Well, that's the thing, Reilly, is that you hear about this, and it's not quite like the Nabisco takeover, because this is a company, Disney is known for, you know, preaching family values and stuff like that, and family values don't necessarily fit into a movie like Deadpool or like Logan. So is this going to be one copacetic meshing, or do you think that some properties that we love from 20th Century Fox might have to compromise what they're all about in order to be with Disney?
It's TBD. I'm not saying I like this or I don't like this yet, because I don't know. Because if you take Fox and you keep that, maybe the executives, the creatives there that can work on their X-Men properties or their Deadpool properties, great, because they're doing something special. We got Logan and Deadpool out of this regime, and if we get Disney involved in that, are they going to water it down? I don't want them to touch it. I don't think they should touch it, especially Deadpool. Or if they're moving forward on movies like Logan, at least for these properties, they've been doing something very, very, very special. They did it with War for the Planet of the Apes. And then what does that mean for an Alien Covenant or an Alien franchise? Is it going to be watered down in the Disney, under the Disney umbrella? So that's what worries me. Because I don't know if you can just take the current X-Men and just put them into the MCU. Do they need to reboot it? Are we going to see Hugh Jackman come out of retirement so he can join the Avengers like he said that he wanted to do at one point? But I don't know. We've seen this before. Like, Disney has purchased properties. They had Hollywood Pictures. They had Miramax at one point, and they let them be autonomous and do their thing. And I think they should do this with Fox. But they do have the chance to then take at least the Fantastic Four, maybe, reboot that, because we don't have anything going with that, and they can put that in the MCU, and that's cool. But they are doing something very special, like I said, with all their X properties and their Deadpool property. I don't want to see Disney put their fingers on it and go, well, now we're Disney. Deadpool is PG-13 or PG. The X-Men, like a Logan movie, we'll never see again. That is what scares me. And then there's the other side of the argument, which I need to do more research on. Is this a conglomerate now that's going to take away jobs and less creative things and less chances they can do on screenwriters, directors, producers? If they keep it all intact on 20th Century Fox and then put it under Disney, like Marvel does, and then it's 20th Century Fox doing their thing, fine.
Well, let me just add to that. That's what they have to do. I mean, it's
I
like,
hope
because
so,
look
yeah.
at it, like, it's not, they're not just buying X-Men and the Fantastic Four. They're buying a gigantic, multiple divisions of Fox. They're buying 21st Century Fox. They're buying like 30% ownership in Hulu. They're buying, it's like so many little sub companies. And as you know, that's, you know, we're a sub company. You know, companies exist under the umbrellas of other companies and more companies until you get to like some weird guy who's floating. He's like, I rule the world, you know, and you don't want to ever meet that dude. You never want to go into that room. You're like, you got to go meet the floating guy. F it, it's done. What now?
Schnepp,
What?
floating guy wants to see.
No, I don't want to. Can I? What I do? I don't want to see that. He's like, where is he? You know, no.
Shoot in my office.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to meet that dude. They always talk about it's like the Illuminati. You know, it's just one dude and he floats, and it's over. If you have to go into that room.
I miss
Hovers
doing
over
shows
LA.
with you, Schnepp.
Natasha, does it give you hesitation that Disney's becoming that floating guy? Just in terms of Hollywood, just in terms of like there's so many properties and so many different movies, like Reilly was mentioning, not just the comic book world, but Alien or War for the Planet of the Apes, or even smaller Fox movies that now they're all going to be under Disney, that it's all one company that is producing all this content for us?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, as much as I love Disney, I think, you know, the entertainment industry needs like that sort of diversity and people's other, you know, stories and ways that they're going to go about producing things. But I think if they're going to sort of do it in a Marvel way where 20th Century Fox keeps their whole deal and style and everything, then I don't really see that big of a problem.
Well,
with
that's
it.
the thing is that I don't think like Deadpool is going to suffer if it's under Disney now, because I'm a huge sports fan. I watch a lot of ESPN. I don't notice that it's Disney unless they're throwing a Last Jedi trailer at me, which I'll welcome all day long. But if you have Fox and that studio, that giant, that one-time monster of Hollywood is now selling off its assets because it admittedly that it cannot compete with the bigger companies like Disney. That's just, it's a weird time to be here where Fox was this huge thing and now they're like, well, we know Fox News has an audience and we know that Fox Sports has a huge audience with the NFL and all the other things that they have, but their movies just aren't generating enough to keep them afloat, so they have to sell it. It's a weird time to be here, Schnepp.
Yeah, I mean, but if Disney wasn't going to buy it, you know, Comcast is right behind them. We're like 55 billion. You know, it's like, you know, so it's just a lot. It's a gigantic library, and the world that we're living in now is like physical media goes away, and more people turn to digital media. That storage center of like we have 50,000 shows and this you know, incredible archive of films and television series. Disney's launching their streaming channel. They want to be competitive with all these other streaming channels that have already, the networks are like ABC, NBC, and CBS. We're going back in time, you know, as we move forward. And like, this is the, you know, we're UPN. That's what Disney is. And we're like, we don't know what they're going to turn into, but they're like getting they're gathering their armies. And 20th Century Fox is part of that army. That's the original Star Wars. That's all of these characters like X-Men and Fantastic Four. So as they gather all this stuff, you know, we're just the consumer. We're like, take my $20. You know, they already have my money. I mean, that's the funny thing is like whether or not they bought 20th Century Fox or they own 30% of Hulu. I already own, like, I'm already a Hulu subscriber. I'm like, you guys fight it out. It doesn't matter to me. You know, it's like it's entertainment. Like they're gonna keep making entertainment.
I give you all the 20th Century Fox properties. You can put that into any current Disney property you have. What are you taking?
I would just take Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Well, they're both Fox properties. So you just
have to take only one?
No. But you don't even want to combine them with anything Disney. You just want to go Fantastic Four. All right, so it's under Disney, but it's still separate. You see things the same way?
What do you mean? Let me clarify your question.
You could throw Deadpool and Infinity War. You could put the Fantastic Four in.
I see what you're saying. Combine it. Yeah, I would take Hugh Jackman out of a retirement and throw him in Avengers 4. While they're shooting it, if this deal goes through, Wolverine is showing up in Avengers 4.
What if you had a post-credit scene in Infinity War where Deadpool showed up?
People
would lose
their mind if it was Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right,
like,
calm down.
Come on.
Hang
on. Don't.
Everybody only looks at, oh my God, the X-Men are going to be in the Avengers. Calm down. Let's see this through. I'm sorry, I got to stand by my point here. Are you going to reboot the X-Men? Because you can't take a Logan movie and then put it in Disney. You can't do that yet. So I'll take Fantastic Four and reboot that and get them in and then make that a post-credit scene with the Avengers. We have Dark Phoenix coming. We have Deadpool 2 coming. Deadpool 2 is not slowing down. We have X-Force after that.
New Mutants. Yep.
Gambit, if they're going to make Gambit
these
before
are
this
going to
deal
be
happens.
some R-rated properties. We got to pump the brakes. We got to see the details. Let's look at the fine print. Because if Disney takes them and then goes, sorry, everything Fox built, we were rebooting so that the fans could be excited for the X-Men to join the Avengers, that's going to suck for a lot of fans of this side of the 20th Century Fox,
Mark,
where we had a Logan and a Deadpool.
Think about it, though. With Avengers Infinity War, you can actually have your cake and eat it, too. Like, you can let the X-Men from 20th Century Fox end, and then when Avengers 4 or whatever it's going to be called comes out, like, you could introduce Wolverine and all these other characters.
A new Wolverine, though.
No, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, because
the
time gem can alter all this stuff in the Fantastic Four.
All right. Bring in time travel.
Timeline, however they want.
Yeah.
We could deliberate all day about what we want to see incorporated into Disney and Fox movies, but the floaty guy in the sky is telling me we need to move on to our next story, and that involves a galaxy far, far away from all this nonsense, although they are also owned by Disney.
During the press event for Star Wars The Last Jedi, Mashable was able to speak with director Rian Johnson about his plans for his new trilogy of films set outside the Skywalker saga. The outlet specifically asked about a certain property fans are hoping to see on screen, that of an adaptation of the popular video game Knights of the Old Republic. Here's what Johnson had to say. Oh, they love Knights of the Old Republic. I played that game when it first came out, and it was like, God, I loved it. Yeah, that's a fantastic game, and I understand it, the instinct to automatically go to something that you know and love, that you've already seen. To me, that's what's really fun is the notion of what new stuff are we going to see, what new stories can we tell. I'm in the very, very beginning phases of trying to think about it, so I don't know yet. I'm still figuring out what it's going to be. Reilly, do Johnson's comments officially rule out an Old Republic trilogy of movies or just an adaptation of Knights of the Old Republic?
Well, just an adaptation of Knights of the Old Republic. This quote, he never says, we're not making an Old Republic trilogy of movies. This was a crazy amount of titles that came out from a quote that never had him saying, we're not going to go to the Old Republic. He said, oh, they love that video game, but I want to do something new. I don't like the fans that are clamoring for a Knights of the Old Republic are asking for an adaptation of this video game into a trilogy. And that's not what he's saying. So all these headlines come out, oh, the new trilogy is not going to be Old Republic. He didn't say that. So we're still on, if fans of the Old Republic, which have never, there's no canon in the Star Wars universe with Old Republic, so I think he just ruled out Knights of the Old Republic, and it's still fair game. He's still figuring out. He has no idea what he's doing. They might have an inkling like, yeah, I want to go back to the Old Republic days and explore the Jedi or the Sith or what have you, but in the Old Republic. But he's not confirming no Old Republic.
Yeah, somewhere Christian Harloff is screaming from his car on Coldwater Canyon right now to the high heavens as to whether he wants or doesn't want Rian Johnson to be helming an Old Republic trilogy. Schnepp, I agree with Reilly that this would rule out a specific storyline based on the Knights of the Old Republic video game, which if y'all have never played that, I don't actually know if I've ever played it, but I watched the trailer. I remember when the trailer came out, I think it was actually Christian, showed me the trailer, and he's like, dude, check this out. And I wanted to see that movie. I wanted to see it so bad, and what gives me hesitation to give the green light to say, oh yeah, Rian Johnson's definitely going to be doing a movie in the Old Republic timeline is the initial press release that Disney came out with when they said that Rian Johnson has a new trilogy, and they said that it's going to introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never been explored. So that seems like it's not taking place in something that we know and love. And I know that Old Republic is not officially canon as of right now. Star Wars has not been shy about cherry-picking things that they like from Legends and placing them back into canon. Thrawn's a great example of that. Do you think we could get an Old Republic trilogy from Rian Johnson, or do you think we're going somewhere else that we've never heard of?
I personally don't want a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy from Rian Johnson. I want a Knights of the Old Republic TV series on Disney streaming, because I did play that game. That was my first RPG that I ever actually got really into. I'd played a couple before that, but I got so absorbed. I highly recommend you play it, because you can play it right now. The 2003 or 2004 version, the very first one. It's so good. I killed so many Tusken Raiders. I got electrocuted on that fish planet. You know what I'm talking about, son. If you played the game, you're like, well, I didn't do it. You're like, get killed. You're like, what? I didn't save. You know, like there's some stuff that happens at that game. They're like, you're throwing the controller. Because you're like, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
I was a big controller
Yeah,
thrower.
dude.
Yeah.
You get to go to the Wookiee planet. Come on, man. This is awesome.
Kashyyyk.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I want to see, and I love the entire mythology. They did such a good job. I don't know who, I'm my bad. I don't know who wrote the mythology of Knights of the Old Republic, but whoever did, thank you, because it's amazing. I know it's BioWare and a couple other amazing game companies. Good God, it was amazing. You could go Sith or Dark Side. I know we're, you know, Jedi. You could be either one. I would say Rian Johnson, just take the HK series of those droids and make them. They're like, we hate you, meat puppets. You know, it's like I would like to see. I mean, he could pluck things from all the different universes.
They call them meat puppets?
Yeah, it was the evil droid.
Like the band Backwater Swirl, saw them open for Stone Temple Pilots. Back to you, Schnepp. So Rian Johnson, you sound a lot like Rian Johnson, where you're gushing over this video game, but you don't think it's the direction he's going to take the new trilogy. When and where is that new trilogy going to take place?
I mean, I don't know, but my speculation for Rian Johnson, seeing as he's a gigantic Star Wars sweaty, and he's also the writer-director of Last Jedi, you know, literally he's got his, you know, his choice to go anywhere in the galaxy. I would like to see an exploration in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, and see it like in some other area of the galaxy where it's like you see the formation of the Order, you see the formation of the, you know, the new versions of the Empire and the Alliance.
See, here's the thing, Reilly, is that I want to see an Old Republic because I want to see the ancient lineage of the Jedi that we know mainly from the eyes of the Skywalker family. Because my hesitation, my fear is that if you make a new trilogy that takes place somewhere in this timeline, but it's in a totally different quarter of the universe, that I don't want it to make the events of Star Wars movies that we already have seem smaller. I don't want there to be another evil entity that we have to defeat, and it's like, oh no, this kind of crap was happening all over the galaxy at all times. I want the Empire to be the thing in the universe that we had to destroy, and that's why Luke Skywalker and company are such big heroes to us, as opposed to being like, oh well, yeah, that happened in Detroit, but you should see what happened in Los Angeles. Like, I want this to be the thing, and then go to a different time period.
Yeah, I think, as much as I love your idea, Schnepp, I think that still what he's saying, what Rian Johnson is saying, is that even if you do that, you're going to hear the names Luke Skywalker and General Leia and all these things. So he's going to go back. Maybe he's not going to call it Old Republic. Maybe he's just going to call it Star Wars and something, Rise of the Force, or whatever it may be. And we're back, just a millennial back, where we learn about maybe the formation of the Jedi Council. I think that's where we're going to go, that you can't even mention a Skywalker because it's totally new. And in different areas, maybe we'll have one planet pop up. It's like, oh, there's Tatooine. You go right by it. You know, I just think that that's what he's going to focus on, and maybe not using the words Old Republic, but if you are a fan of the history of the legend books and Knights of the Old Republic, you can go, oh, this is what they mean by Old Republic. They're just not calling it that.
They could use the Journal of the Wills and not ever mention Skywalker, because the Skywalkers are only part of whatever this, now 9-part. I don't know if it'll become a 12-part saga, whatever. But it is. You're right. It is like this gigantic, battleground between this family lineage. But the origin of it, I don't think Plagueis is or however you say his name, Plagueis or whatever.
Yeah, Plagueis.
I don't think he's a Skywalker.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that every Star Wars movie is going to involve the Skywalkers somehow. But I just don't want to see a timeline where you have the Skywalkers off in this corner of the galaxy doing their thing and destroying Death Stars, and then over here there's something completely different going on that's not really aware of that at all. And I also don't want to see some sort of like weird nods to, oh, did you hear about the thing on Tatooine the other day? Like, I don't want to know about that. I'd much rather go back in time, like what you're talking about, investigating the Journal of the Wills. One of the coolest shots in Rogue One was that huge Jedi statue that was fallen, and I want to see the time period when that was built up, when Jedha was thriving and it had all these Jedi running around teaching each other tricks. That's what I want to see, and I hope Rian Johnson's trilogy explores that. And if not Rian Johnson's trilogy, then somewhere else down the road, because I think Star Wars is ready to take us back in time to show us where it all began. That's my 2 cents. Here's something really interesting, though. If they made a Knights of the Old Republic movie, could that actually end up being the first great video game movie?
Ooh.
Since Mortal Kombat.
Right?
Mortal Kombat's the best.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Could be.
It could be. I mean, I would prefer a TV series because it's a very dense game. So it's like I would like to see them tell the story, and you as the character end up being a very big part of that story. I'm not gonna no spoilers. I know it's like 20 years ago, like whatever. It's like spoilers. Just play the game.
Natasha, we have a lot of video games to play. We have a lot of Star Wars movies to watch. But in the meantime, you know what we have? Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Yes, we do. We're getting into buy or sell. So ahead of the first trailer that will be dropping Thursday night, Entertainment Weekly has revealed new plot details for the Jurassic World sequel, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The follow-up sees the return of Chris Pratt's Owen Grady and Bryce Dallas Howard's Claire Dearing in a story that will be set several years after the events of Jurassic World. There we'll see Owen and Claire return to Isla Nublar, where a volcano threatens the lives of the dinosaurs roaming free in the former tourist park, attempting to rescue them from a second extinction. Bryce Dallas Howard also commented on the plot, saying, Claire's founded an organization, Dinosaur Protection Group, and they're finding a way to get these dinosaurs off the island. She reaches out to Owen Grady to let him know this is happening. Schnepp, buy or sell the new plot details for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I'm sorry, what? I was so bored from what? Are we going back to Dinosaur Island? I buy that Jeff Goldblum is in like a 3-minute court scene. That's it. I don't buy come on, just blow up the island already. It's like, yeah, we're gonna see a bunch of different dinosaurs. I'm bored out of my skull.
I wouldn't say boredom, but I do feel nerves when we're going back to the island.
No, back to the island.
What do you think is going to happen if we're going back to? I understand if you're an animal lover and you work for the DPG that you want to go and you want to rescue dinosaurs because they're innocent creatures. They didn't ask for this. They got thrown into this environment. And they're wild animals and they acted accordingly. So it's not your fault. But by the same token, the island's getting destroyed. Where do we put the dinosaurs that we know it's not gonna? I don't know what the game plan is. Somebody from the DPG has to pitch me, and maybe this happens early in the movie where they sit down, they just look at the camera, and they're like, "Hey, this is where we're gonna take the dinosaurs. This is the good play." Yeah, I'm sure Chris Pratt's character is gonna have some hesitation about going back, but
Mark, I got an idea. Put them in a park and just call it Jurassic Park.
No, we tried that.
Oh,
John.
You're right.
We tried that a number of times.
Yeah, you're right.
And it never worked out well.
Totally forgot.
Reilly, is it gonna work out well this time?
Yeah, this is so stupid. They're going to take the dinosaurs off the island? Where are you going to put them? Yeah. Well, there's Jurassic World 3. We know that's now going to happen. And I love what you said. It's like they didn't ask for this. And it's like the dinosaurs like, yeah, we didn't ask to exist. It's just like they were made.
But they're here now. They're really cute. So you got to do something with them.
I get it. And I get it could work as a parallel to, endangered species that we have today. And I think that's honorable. But it is, like you said, Schnepp, it is really, how many times do we have to go back to an island with dinosaurs? This is kind of like a replay of The Lost World, where they now go back to the island, but now they want to capture the dinosaurs and create another park that's the John Hammond competition, right? Well, now we want to save the dinosaurs, so a bunch of stupid humans are going to go, yeah, I want to save the dinosaurs. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, there's a volcano, too, so now we got to, war against the volcano and velociraptors and T-Rexes and whatever this new dinosaur is. it's how many times can humans be stupid? And I love these movies. They are maybe a guilty pleasure, you want to call it. I love it when monsters eat humans. I just do. I love these movies. Jaws, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I had a great time with. But this is stretching the bounds of what stupid humans will do in order to save an animal. I don't get why you're going back to the island. Do something different. You mentioned the military angle, like in the first one. If you're gonna go bonkers, go bonkers. Go to a government facility where you're weaponizing the raptors, and then everything goes bad.
That's what made me nervous about watching the last one. Is this, as much as I did love Jurassic World, I watched it. I'm like, are we doing a militaristic angle for the sequel? Because that doesn't seem.
Here's how you open Fallen Kingdom. Okay. You're in the desert. You're running around. You got the Army Humvees and this like a big military exercise. And then all of a sudden, what's running next to them? Raptors. Raptors, right? And they're going into like the caves and they're taking out the terrorists.
Do you want like raptors with like machine guns on their
I just
shoulders?
Want the
and fires and stuff.
The Raptors are doing their thing with Owen. He's on a special task mission. He was brought in, and they're like, "We're taking these Raptors. We found a terrorist organization, and we're sending them in. No guns. We don't need to put guns."
I want nanotech dinosaurs. I want like a metallic dinosaur, like it's all just silver. That would be cool.
No, so you want to make robot dinosaurs.
I don't want to see Jurassic Park again, which is what I feel like I'm seeing every time I see these movies. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, do anything but like Fallen Screenplay, whatever. It's boring to me.
Yeah,
well, this feels a
big.
little bit like Lost World, where we're gonna have the dinosaurs get off the island and then be on the mainland. Natasha, I haven't been to SeaWorld in a while. I'm pretty sure they don't have a tank big enough to habitat the huge swimmy dinosaur creature from
the one that just like pops up.
I mean, I understand wanting to rescue like the cute little ones. Like those are cute. I'll take one of those into my house. But these huge dinosaurs, where are we gonna put them?
I don't know, but I'm still gonna watch this movie. Like I don't know. Yeah. I'm with you, Reilly. Like I like seeing the big creatures eat humans. So whatever.
I'm complaining a lot, but I'm probably gonna go see it too, guys. What? Oh,
we're gonna. I'm going to get very excited about this movie. The trailer's dropping tomorrow, by the way, so hopefully we'll get to see it before we go live on Movie Talk. If not, we'll have a reaction as soon as it's up. There was a behind-the-scenes vid that got released today that I saw on Collider.com. You can probably check it out on YouTube as well. I really like the behind-the-scenes vid. Some people here didn't do the research and watch it. Schnepp did.
I watched it. It's a good behind the scenes. Yeah. It's better than probably what the trailer is going to be. I wonder who didn't see it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Call me out.
Yeah. The guy that wasn't going to be on Movie Talk had some other things to do and didn't have to. Okay, I'm going to watch it.
I'm calling Natasha out too.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right. She was too busy criticizing Olaf and his massive runtime in front of Coco.
Somebody has to. For God's sakes.
I have a responsibility here.
Well, we're going from one sequel to another. Slightly different tone. Will there be dinosaurs in Baby Driver 2?
I mean, who knows? It's being hammered out as we speak. All right. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, director Edgar Wright confirmed that Sony is looking to do a Baby Driver sequel, with talks already in the works to make something happen. While Wright has a number of projects in the works, he doesn't yet know which project of his he'll tackle first, saying the deal is being hammered out as we speak, so hopefully I'm going to at least write a second one. I've definitely got lots of ideas. Whether it's the next movie, I don't know. I'm just working that out at the moment, actually. Mark, buy or sell a sequel to Baby Driver?
I would totally buy a sequel to Baby Driver. The way that the movie ended, you can see room for a sequel that might have to take place sometime in the future, but it's nothing that I need. It's not like I didn't see the movie and rush. I'd be like, oh, I can't wait for another one. It was a very nice and close story. And sometimes you end a movie and you say, oh, they left room for a sequel. Doesn't mean you need a sequel. Doesn't mean you have to do it. But Edgar Wright is somebody who I really believe in his artistic vision. And if he thinks that there's a good opportunity to have a sequel in there that's as compelling of a story, that's as exciting, that you're not going to be able to bring back a lot of characters from Baby Driver, but you can have new ones you introduce, I'd be up for a Baby Driver too. How about you, Schnepp?
I would, as long as he's directing it. And that was the only thing that concerned me about the quote, is maybe I'm reading too much into it, is at least I'd write a sequel, which means like, oh, I'd write it, I'd produce it, and then hand it off to somebody else. But I mean, Edgar Wright is his work is so compelling because of the way he directs movies, because of the way he puts movies together. And if his hand is not on that, if he's not behind the film, steering it as like, basically kind of editing it with the editor. I mean, his edits are really important. So, I mean, to me, it's like if he's not directing it and making it and helming it, then I'm not as interested in Baby Driver 2, because to me, at least for myself, some of the plot of Baby Driver was some of the weaker parts of the actual filmmaking. I mean, the film itself is dynamic and fantastic, but I could, it had that kind of like ending that wouldn't stop. It almost became the Terminator. Like these characters became too superhuman. Certain things like that. Like in the story writing, the screenplay part was the part to me that like needed some more work. So I'm like, if he's not directing it, I would be a little concerned.
Yeah, Reilly, such a big attraction for the first Baby Driver was the way the music was so perfectly choreographed to not just the racing scenes, but also just things going on in this young guy's life. Do you think that if we saw that in a sequel, because you need that in the sequel, but would it feel like, oh, they're just going back? It's just they're retreading the same ground we already know. How do you take Baby Driver and make it go forward to where we're excited to see new lore? Yeah,
it's a great point, and I echo your sentiments, Schnepp. I would want Edgar Wright to direct it. That's the only way I would get excited. There's the offshoots though of like Edgar Wright's having like some. Like he mentored Joe Cornish, and we had the great Attack of the Block. Sure. So maybe he has somebody that has in mind for a Baby Driver 2, and we can see a new director pop on the scene. That's kind of intriguing on my end, but that's a good point, Mark. How are we going to move this story forward and care? Because music is so integral for this character and that movie. So I think it will probably center around the love story, and he has his lady waiting for him on the outside. So maybe there's something there that we go into her psyche. We go into her what is her character like in this world with Baby alongside. That's the only way I can see it going somewhere interesting. But Edgar Wright, if he has an idea, I trust him. But you're right. I want him to direct it. That's the only way I'll really care.
Well, from these quotes, Natasha, it seems like Edgar Wright is really itching to get back into some sort of either writing or directing, because let's not forget, he's been a very well-known writer and director for a long time. Baby Driver was such a more profitable movie than anything he's ever put out before. He deserves a lot of credit for that. So do you think he should go back to Baby Driver 2? He's working on something original right now called Grasshopper Jungle, which is based on a novel that's like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing that with these two teenage boys in Iowa trying to learn how to survive. So if he's working on that, would you like to see the next thing be Baby Driver 2 or another original piece by Edgar Wright?
No, I think I would have to sell a Baby Driver 2 just because I would rather see something completely new. Baby Driver was one of my favorite movies of this year, and I think it was so original and so different that I would love to see what he has next. And there's just some movies that I feel like you tie up in a little bow, you love it forever, and you put it on the shelf until like you want to watch it again. Like I don't see how I would be interested in a Baby Driver 2. Maybe I have to wait for a trailer before that, but yeah, at this point I'm selling it.
Okay, so I'm putting two movies in a marquee, and you guys have to go into one of them, okay? It's either a sequel to Baby Driver or a sequel to Get Out. Which one you going to?
Ooh.
Oh.
Eh?
I'm going to go see the sequel to Get Out.
Yeah.
I think I will too.
1,000%. Get Out, yeah.
All right. Sorry, Edgar. I'm going to see Get Out also, but we would also look forward to Baby Driver 2 if, in fact, you're going to write it and direct it.
Don't apologize. You made us make that horrible decision.
I thought it was a good decision.
Well, I want to see a sequel to Get Out now because I do think that there's a big, deep, rich mythology there.
You try to do something nice for
Way to go,
on
Mark.
a weekend, and this is what happens. No ice cream for anybody.
They should hire you to run the 20th Century Fox division of Disney.
Okay, no, you know what? All you are fired, and now you all have to watch John Travolta play Gotti.
No! Oh my God, he's the floating guy in the sky.
The floating guy. Okay, just 10 days before John Travolta's John Gotti biopic was set to open, Lionsgate has abruptly cut ties with the movie and sold the finished film back to producers. According to the tracking board, the producers for Gotti are expected to seek a new distribution deal for the movie with the planned release date of December 15th, now looking to be impossible to hit. No word has been given as to why Lionsgate dropped the movie from its slate. Reilly, buy or sell Gotti finding another studio to distribute in time for a December 15th release.
Sell that. This is fascinating. 10 days before it's released, Lionsgate drops it, and the movie has no home. So you're talking, okay, 10 days now. Now 8 or 9 days, they're not going to find a studio to distribute this. So now they're left in limbo, and that's a damn shame. You have, Entourage actor Kevin Connolly directed this. So it's such a bummer to think that he put that much time, blood, sweat, tears, has it ready. They're getting ready. I saw the trailers and everything, the marketing campaigns. Kind of it's a smaller movie, so you're not seeing it splashed everywhere, but all that work, all that time, all that money, and now it's not going to be on theater. So I don't know where they're going to land. This is a fascinating development.
I want to know what the details of the sell back were, because Lionsgate bought it and they were going to distribute it, and then they sold it back to producers. Do you keep your receipt when you buy a movie? Or are you like, hey, we have 30 days to return this? Or do you sell it back and you make 10 cents on the dollar that you initially paid for? So I don't know what that deal was, but whatever reason, Lionsgate seemed like they all of a sudden did not want to distribute Gotti at all. I don't think anybody's going to want to distribute it now for the rest of this year, because you're going to either be going up against Last Jedi or a bunch of Christmas movies. I think that if you're making a Gotti biopic and it's released around December, you're hoping for Oscar buzz. Either it wasn't getting any Oscar buzz, or there's something going on with one of the stars, John Travolta, kind of looking at you, that somebody knows about, that a story might come out where, hey, we don't want this on our hands right now. So Lionsgate is like washing their hands of it back to the producers. Schnepp, what say you?
Yeah, I was gonna mention it's either some kind of controversy with Travolta, or it's just simply the truth that they can't get their money back. And I think they realize that maybe the early Oscar buzz is not there. They're going to have to put a lot of money into all the print advertising, and they're not going to see a return on it. So instead of spending another $15 to $30 million and it's a total wash, oh, you made $2 million or $4 million opening weekend, total, they're like, look, we're just going to sell it back and eat the loss of however much they paid for distribution. So it's one of those two things. It's really weird for that to happen like 10, 15 days before it's being released. Yeah, we're not going to release it. That's crazy. So, I mean, there's definitely something really big on a high level happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the page 6 months ago or a year ago, if you have Kevin Connolly directing John Travolta in a Gotti movie, you look at John Travolta's recent work on the People versus O.J. Simpson, and you're like, he was great as Robert Shapiro. It's a little over the top, but maybe that's what you want if you're playing John Gotti, too. So it's a biopic. It's got a lot of Travolta's. It's got Kelly Preston in there. It's got, I think, Travolta's daughter's in the movie as well. So I'm not sure what the hell happened, but Lionsgate really wanted to have nothing to do with this movie anymore. If you're willing to sell it back for pennies on the dollar 10 days before it gets released. So Gotti, nothing for the rest of this year anyway. We'll see if anybody picks it up for release in 2018. We're going to remind you guys at the end of this show, you can check out all the other program we have on Collider Video. We have the top 50 superhero movies of all time. Keeps on shooting. We dropped a good one today. We're dropping new ones every weekday at 8 a.m. PST. And we also have a new Heroes that's going to be up on the channel later on today, hosted by, who hosts that show, Schnepp?
I don't know, some bozo.
Some
He's
weird
going to fight the floating guy.
The floating guy hosts it.
A new Schmodown dropped yesterday, and I'm going to remind you guys we're going to save some time for your live Twitter questions. Go ahead and start tweeting us right now at Collider Video. In the meantime, let's walk out to the mailbox, open it up, and see what's inside with Mailbag.
Okay, Kevin writes, could Tarantino's retirement not be from directing, but instead be from developing movies from scratch? Meaning in the future, could we get movies every year from him like Spielberg and is producing? With him developing a Star Trek movie, it makes sense and seems like a producer path.
Kevin, I understand where you're coming from, but I think that Quentin Tarantino, like a lot of athletes or entertainers, artists, when they say they're retiring, they just want to break. They just want to break. I don't think Quentin Tarantino is ever going to retire. I don't think that he's ever going to wake up and say, I never want to direct another movie or I never want to produce another movie. He might do more producing than directing because I don't know how much energy it takes for him. He seems like he's got an endless supply of it, but I don't think he's ever going to be done directing until the day he drops. Schnepp, Quentin Tarantino, he just seems like a lifer in this business.
Yeah, I would say I agree with your statement about, like they want to break. They don't want that pressure. Like, where's your next movie? Like, look, I retired. I did my 10th film. Like, he's edging in toward closer to getting to his 10th film. He said he wants to do a sci-fi film. Is this going to be that sci-fi film that he does and then he retires? I mean, so many people say they retire. Miyazaki's coming out of retirement. That dude is like, I mean, there's no reason to retire if you have a new desire to do something and you're a great filmmaker. You come out of retirement, you're like, yeah, I'm not retiring. So I'm not worried about him making or producing or retiring or doing any of that stuff.
Yeah, Natasha, because we didn't have you on the show yesterday. I want to get your take on this. So Tarantino, it came out that he might be interested in making a Star Trek movie. Would you be more interested in seeing what his take on that kind of iconic property would be, or are you more interested in what Tarantino's going to do with that new Charles Manson era flick?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I know this is so middle of the road, but I would choose both. I mean, I'm so fascinated by Charles Manson. Like, I think that would be such a cool story to explore. But I mean, I think the Star Trek news is awesome, and I would totally love to see that.
Really inject some fresh life into that franchise. Mark Reilly, you think Tarantino, is he going to be more of a producer from here on out, or you think he's just going to keep going back to directing?
No, I think the Star Trek news isn't the outlier here. I think he had an idea, and he's a huge fan of the property, and he talked to JJ. and he's going to do it. Now, whether that's his 10th film, that would be fascinating, wouldn't he? He directs a Star Trek movie and then retires. Yeah. I don't see that happening, though. Yeah, I think he's a director for life, and I think that I don't think that bug is ever going to go away. I think he's going to keep him up and doing it until the day he dies. And I think he's probably going to at least my feeling, he's going to hand off the Star Trek idea, and somebody else is going to direct it, and he's going to go and do his thing. But as far as like comparing him to a Spielberg is slapping his name on Transformers movies because he's an executive producer and he produces such movies that he's done in the past, like Back to the Future or Gremlins or Goonies. I don't see Tarantino doing that at all. I think he's going to direct the Manson movie next. He might look into Star Trek, but then after that, we'll probably get another original Tarantino movie.
Schnepp, as a director, have you ever finished a project and then just been like, I'm done? Like, have you ever actually thought, I'm never doing this again, or did you just think, I need a break?
I've gotten close to it from working with jerks, but then then you end up working with cool people. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. It doesn't all suck. And so yeah, it depends on who you surround yourself with. It's like I would always say to anyone who's out there who's wanting to work in the entertainment business, surround yourself with talented people, surround yourself with really cool people, people with integrity. I mean, that's the only way you can really work and feel good about what you're doing is if all the people that you're working with are also on the same level as you. So that's what I would say. I'm never going to retire. I have too many ideas and I want to make too much stuff. So.
Well, you keep showing up around here, so I imagine I'd be one of the cool people, not one of the jerks. But
you're one of the cool people.
We'll do a Twitter poll.
You're one of the cool people.
Find out. Hey, speaking of Twitter, let's go to some live tweets. We'll take a couple to close out our day, our morning, our afternoon, wherever the hell you're watching this from. Whatever time it is, it's sometime.
Okay, so Kevin Ross asks, what Fox movie property do you want to see Disney turn into a ride at Disneyland?
Ooh, wow, a ride. I think a Deadpool ride would be like concussion inducing. It'd just be it'd be so much fast flying action coming at you. I think X-Men is an easy choice, but I would go Alien. I did not like Alien Covenant at all. Very, very,
me neither.
Very disappointed by Alien Covenant, but an Alien ride, that would be awesome. You get to be in Nostromo, you get to fly around a little bit, you crash, you have aliens come and attack, they're all over the place. I'm in for an alien ride. How about you, Reilly?
Yeah.
Since I took yours.
You took mine, but that's okay. That's a good one. I like it. I'll go War for the Planet of the Apes ride.
You just took mine.
Yeah, I figured. I'm like going down the list. I'm going down the list of proproperties. How about the Shape of Water ride? That's a Fox Searchlight.
You go for a Cure for Wellness ride. You just
I was trying to come up with Cure for Wellness, but Shape of Water has been on my mind because I just saw it. So
yeah, I would go with something like they haven't done yet, like maybe a Star Wars ride or something. The original Star Wars. See what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, Fantastic Four could be a cool ride. Get in the Fantastic Car, avoid all the weird supervillains attacking you. It could be a really cool, like you and 4 people, like in a weird bubble ride or something.
After you guys so rebelled against my Baby Driver 2 versus Get Out 2, it's weird that I'm taking y'all to an amusement park, but I am about to do that, Natasha. So you have all these rides. You have a Planet of the Apes ride, you have an Alien ride, you have a Fantastic Four ride, or your own creation. Which one are you going on?
Ooh, I think Planet of the Apes ride for sure.
All right.
I think it would be, they could maybe put a like Indiana Jones spin on it or something. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it would be really cool.
Apes ride strong.
And Jon Schnepp would be voicing all of the voices.
I didn't know you had that in
Damn, put a motion capture camera on this guy right now.
I've been hanging out with
start
Circus,
this
man.
ride.
I've been hanging out with Circus.
The new Andy's.
Capture my dots.
Give this man a banana and let's move on to another Twitter question.
Okay. Bob Gray asks, what is your all-time favorite comic book movie acting performance? A performance you thought did justice to the character and overall lifted the film. I got the obvious choice of Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I might take somebody else in Batman Begins / The Dark Knight / The Dark Knight Rises, and that would be Michael Caine. He is so good as Alfred, and I like that we extended Alfred from being just the butler to being like this badass former Navy SEAL Special Forces British Legionnaire type person who went to Burma one time with some friends just to fix some political stuff. Like, what the hell was Alfred into? That's the prequel I want to see. I want to see what Alfred got his hands into before he hung out with the rich Wayne family. So I'm going Michael Caine.
Going Patrick Stewart. Professor X. He brought such a legitimacy to that franchise.
Yes, some of the best acting performances you'll ever see in any comic book or superhero movie come from the world of X-Men, whether it's Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, Mark Reilly. I hope I took yours.
No, you didn't. I would be remiss not to mention this since I'm wearing the Superman hat today. I'm going old school. Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, 1978 Superman. She elevated that. We haven't had a good Lois Lane since. No offense, Amy Adams or Kate Bosworth. Amy Adams I adore, but when you think of Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, that's always the definitive version of Lois Lane, and I love her. And even the cinematographer was like, "Quiet, everyone! I'm lighting the lady," because she was so perfect in the role, and he just loved lighting her for her scenes.
She was great as Lois Lane. Natasha, we always debate the best Batman of all time. We never really get into a fight about the best Lois Lane, but I think Reilly has a pretty good mic drop moment. Do you have any superhero performances that stand out?
I mean, I definitely think like Hugh Jackman is the best Wolverine ever. Like he'll always be Wolverine to me.
Doesn't matter who they put
I
in
could
there.
never see anybody else as Wolverine. Like that's just him.
Well, you're going to.
Or maybe you see Hugh Jackman in a post-credit scene in Infinity War. What? Maybe it'll happen. Probably not. All right, Disney, you go ahead and own the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to Collider Movie Talk. For Natasha Martinez, Jon Schnepp, and Mark Reilly, I am merely Mark Ellis. You guys can find me on Twitter at Mark Ellis Live. We will see you guys tomorrow for a new episode of Collider Movie Chat Talk. Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.